ramp up. I think we're going to reach probably the climax over the next several hours, maybe the next 4 hours or so. We've got Tim Kelly, who's at the weather wall right now. He can bring us up to speed on some of the latest that's going on with the data. Tim, over to you.
Hi, Matt. Yeah, I went for a lap around the NECN parking lot, and I can tell you that we're gusting past 50 miles an hour at NECN, Newton, Massachusetts. It's about 20 miles inland from Boston. The temperature was 30 degrees at 9:30, and it was 20 degrees at 10:30. Measured 8.5 inches of snow at 9 o'clock. Measured 13 inches of snow at 11 o'clock. So we've been picking up snow at the rate of 2 to 3 inches per hour, and we are not even in the heaviest band of snow. The heaviest band of snow is actually backed inland. It's very dark blue here, and you can see it stretches from about Middlesex and Essex County, Massachusetts, about to go into Rockingham County in New Hampshire, arcing right across Worcester County, clipping Camden County and Franklin County. In this band where there has been thunder and winds gusting past 50 miles an hour, snow has been falling in excess of 3 inches per hour. Now the big question is what's going to happen with these bands. The band may back up a little bit more, but it's probably going to stall, and there are new bands forming near the center of the storm, which is now passing close as it will to Nantucket Island, within 200 miles. It's a bombogenesis. That means it's a deepening rapidly cyclogenesis. It's a bomb. It's a nor'easter. It's causing problems from Cape Cod to Maine to New York City right now. The wind is gusting to 60 miles an hour at Hyannis, where it's been going back and forth between rain and snow. My brother Ed and Dennis plowing. He says, I cannot remember a heavier 5 inches of snow to plow. Nantucket, Blair, and Chris reporting a mixture of sleet, snow, and rain all night that has gone to snow now. Nantucket gusting past 70. And Matt says the wind in Boston is gusting how strong?
76 is what Logan reported, Sam. It is incredible, and it's, I think we're going to probably find some gusts over 80, I would think, right at the coast. Do you agree?
Yeah, the trees are we're going to have blocked roads. This is just going to be a mess. It's going to take more than one day to get cleaned out of this.
You know, behind you there, as we play things through, you can see, I mean, tomorrow morning we're going to be here with the coverage still, and winds are still going to be gusting all the way to 9:30 in the morning.
Yeah, 50 to 60 miles an hour, even without snow and trees. Winds gusting 50 or 60.
That's a great point. That is a great point. Tim Kelly, thanks very much. So this brings us up to speed on the fact that, again, the wind is really our big concern, along with the snow, but a lot of folks are just hoping. So now it's about, okay, if you're watching us and you still have power, you're going to keep it. And the chance of that diminished significantly as we go through the next 4 hours or so.
Now let's turn our attention to our Alicia Colombo, who's live for us at the Massachusetts Emergency Management Agency with Peter Judge. Hello, Alicia.
Hi, Latoya. Obviously, the biggest concern right now, power outages. A lot of people in their homes because of that travel ban. They don't want to be losing power if they still have it. We're getting the latest right now from Peter Judge here with Mima. Peter, can you tell us what the latest numbers are for Massachusetts?
Well, we don't have the hourly numbers yet, but we know they're well in excess of 200,000 at this particular point.
And that's gone up a lot over the past hour or so, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's basically every hour it goes up exponentially. So, unfortunately, we expect with the continued strong winds and the driving snow, those numbers will continue to go up throughout the night.
And lastly, I know that the utility companies are all in place, they're ready to go for this, but they can't really get out there until this storm has passed. What is their plan as they relate it to you?
Well, as you said, they pulled their crews off because for their safety, but once the snow stops, once the wind dies down, their crews are going to go out there. But also we have folks here from the National Guard and other agencies that are going to be able to assist them to clear the roads, to go over the chainsaws and get rid of the debris on the roads so they can more effectively return the power for folks.
Thank you very much, Peter Judge with me. I know you have a lot of work to get done, so thank you very much for joining us briefly here. And I know we were out on the roads driving around a short time ago. There were a lot of issues with visibility. A lot of businesses were basically snowed in because the plows are on those
I'm shoveling around the entire place. When I shovel one side of the building, by the time I finish the next side, the first side of the building is filled up again. It's just non-stop.
They're deteriorating rapidly from where this afternoon. It's almost white out visibility, so you can't see more than 50, 60 feet in front of you. You have to be right up on top of them before you see the headlights. Most of the people, the snow's covered everything, so I have to get out every few minutes just to clean off the lights there.
It's definitely pretty bad out there right now. We did not drive very far, really just to the hotel we're going to be staying at tonight down the street, and it was very bad seeing people try to get out of there with two-wheel drive vehicles. Definitely advise against it. Again, that travel ban is still in effect. Back to you, Latoya.
Alicia Colombo, thank you for that update from NEMA headquarters.
All right, let's head back out to the coast, Situate, Massachusetts, where our Julie Lonchek is. And Julie, I think you probably had a little bit of a chance to assess whether there's been any impact from that high tide around 10 o'clock. Anything you can tell us about that?
So we tried to venture out to Oceanside Drive earlier. That's, of course, a road that is of utmost concern. That's where the seawall breached a little more than 2 years ago now. And we couldn't even get to Oceanside Drive because part of it was completely washed out already. You'll see that shortly coming up here. This is Situate Harbor. At 10 o'clock when we were reporting live, the water was coming up at least over the rocks here, bringing with it some debris. It has receded a little bit since. We've been putting in numerous phone calls to Situate Fire and Situate Police, and they are just inundated right now with requests, with phone calls, with emergency calls, so they can't give us an estimate as to how much water actually came up at that 10 o'clock high tide. Power outages are a concern here. We understand now that 75% of Situate is without power. We have seen numerous transformers blowing, and with it sparks. It looked almost as if lightning had struck. If we can pan out over here, you can see the snowfall now, and bear in mind that this parking lot has been plowed several times. While we were driving around town, I can tell you that there's at least 6 to maybe 10 inches of snow on the ground. Earlier it was that really, really wet, sleet-like snow. Now it's becoming fluffy. It is certainly sticking to the ground and to the trees and to the limbs, and they are coming down. If you thought the blizzard of 2013 was much to do about nothing earlier, think again. By 8 p.m. Friday, downtown Situate, Massachusetts was a downright whiteout. Our travels took us down the side streets, which were surprisingly relatively clear, but the thick, heavy, wet snow was already taking down limbs and lines.
We are looking for the high tide. We are kind of nervous about it, but more nervous about the morning high tide.
Snow we can deal with, water not so much.
The waves are supposed to be bigger in the morning.
Mother and daughter, Lauren and Louise Wigmore, were